Hello, everyone. My name is Julie McVey, and this is Unordinary Made Ordinary, where we talk about extraordinary experiences of everyday people. After today's interview, if you would like to continue the conversation of all things metaphysical, paranormal, and supernatural, feel free to join our private UMO group by clicking on the link in the video description. And today, our guest is Wendy Rose Williams. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, Julie. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm very excited about our conversation. We have a lot to talk about, so we're going to just jump right in. So if you wouldn't mind, could you just sort of introduce yourself, give us a little background on who you are?
Absolutely. I'm a past life energy healer, and I help people release energy that doesn't serve them anymore. Things like chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. And I have two lovely young adult daughters who one just finished engineering school and one is finishing up becoming a veterinarian.
Oh, nice. Lovely. One thing I do like to ask my guests before we kind of get into their stories and their experiences is, did you grow up in a religious household or spiritual household?
I grew up in a house I'd best describe as kind of a casual Christian, believed in God, believed in Jesus, and that God is love, but that's about as far as it went.
Oh,
And there were really no spiritual beliefs. I did not have any knowledge of anything to do with metaphysics or energy until I was in my late 40s when I got a very
wow.
surprise opening, big awakening.
Wow. Okay. We're going to get into that in just one second, but one last question before we do. Do you remember looking back through childhood or 20s, having any kinds of paranormal or supernatural experiences?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I remembered having a lot of experiences where it really was quite psychic what was going on, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I would
Mm,
describe myself as a high sensitive and an empath. And
okay.
again, kept being told, you're too sensitive. So it just was not
Right.
considered okay or helpful in the family. So it was just being squashed down. That is not meant as a
Mhm.
slam. It's just, when the family doesn't know what to do with it, that's just the
Sure.
way it is.
Were you the only child that had this kind of energetic sensitivity?
Yes.
Mm, okay. I always wonder about that too, if it's like runs in the family or something.
I think I was outside of the norm for the family was what was going on.
Okay. So if it's okay with you, Wendy, would you mind sort of walking us through your first NDE?
Absolutely.
Okay,
So
thanks.
what happened was it was August of 97 and I was newly pregnant. I was 10 weeks pregnant and we were just
Oh,
over the moon because there'd been years of infertility as well as two ectopic pregnancies. And
oh,
we also had an adorable little 18-month-old toddler. So we were very excited to be expecting. I had had just one visit to the OBGYN physician. Everything looked great from his perspective, but I was noticing two odd things. And one was I had just an incredible amount of heartburn, which didn't seem right to me, and just a
hmm,
lot of discomfort in my abdomen. And I'd asked about that and was told, well, every pregnancy is different. Just take my Lanta. That's safe to do. So
mm,
I'm thinking, okay,
yeah.
and just taking a lot of my Lanta.
Oh,
And the other thing was I was having a precognitive dream, a repeating dream, but I didn't know what precognitive dreams were. I didn't know we could be dreaming about the future and that our body, our subconscious, our intuition, our guides could be trying to tell us, oh my goodness, pay attention, get prepared because there's something coming. And what would happen is I would see this big violent storm at sea, and I would see a large ship, and there was all this ripping and tearing. So winches are coming off, cleats are flying off, the mast would all tear off, the ship breaks in two and goes down.
hmm,
And I'm having this dream several times a week, thinking, what the heck is that?
wow.
Well, this doesn't take much of a dream interpreter to tell you, Wendy, your ship's about to go down.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
Okay.
So what happened on the day of the NDE, the first NDE, I'm working at home. I'm alone, no car at home. My husband's at work. He's got one car. Our nanny's at the park with our daughter,
Oh,
and
okay.
she's got the other car. And
Okay.
Julie, I just could not get comfortable. I could not settle. I just felt off,
The
weird,
indigestion, or was it?
indigestion, and just not myself.
Huh.
And I kept feeling like I'm going to be sick. Something's wrong. I don't
You
understand.
knew, yeah,
Just
something.
really, really not right.
Okay.
So I'm having a lot of trouble trying to focus, trying to work. And all of a sudden, I had this sense of impending doom, which was very specific. I've never had that feeling before or since.
Wow.
And I just ran in the bathroom thinking, I'm going to be sick. I don't
Wow.
understand what's happening here. I get in the bathroom and I look down because there's just this searing pain in my abdomen, and it felt like an organ burst. And
Oh.
I looked down and I'm like, oh my gosh, someone stuck a knife in me. I'm like
Wow.
literally looking for the knife.
Oh.
And I passed out on the floor. So I'm unconscious, and I'm not sure that I would have woken up except for this insistent male voice. And I wake up, I'm laying on my side, so I'm kind of disoriented when I open my eyes because of my viewpoint from lying on my side. And all I can see in my bathroom is these 4 or 5 large objects, these beings of light. There's so much light coming off them. I realize they're floating like maybe 6 inches off the ground. And I see wings, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
my
man.
bathroom is filled with angels. I just, I don't know what to make of this. This is amazing. This is beautiful. What's going on?
That's wild.
It was wild. And I like, like trying to catch up and take it all in. And this male angel, who I later recognized as Archangel Michael, he says, clear as day, Wendy, you've got to call for help now, or you're going to go home. And I knew exactly what he meant was I was going to die if I didn't get help.
Hmm.
So I looked at him and said, well, I can't walk. I hear you. I can't walk. I don't know how to get to the phone.
Hmm.
And his answer was very telling. And he said, you just have to be willing to try. And I think that was because we've got free will. And if we want to just do it alone and not have any help from spirit guides, not have any help from our higher self, and try and soldier on through life in that manner, we can.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's not going to go very well. So he said, you've just got to be willing to try. So I got up on my hands and knees, which took some real effort. And I'm like just clutching my midsection.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was kind of like being gently lifted and supported and like being flown the
Okay.
short distance to get to the nightstand in my bedroom. I'm in the master bath, just have to get to the master bedroom attached to it because it was before cell phones were, glued to our hand, glued
Yeah.
to our back pocket. I've got to get to a landline.
Right.
So I'm still on the floor, kind of like trying to catch up with what's going on. And I'm like reaching up, trying to reach the phone. And
Mhm.
then I have a second where it's like, well, who do I call? And I thought, do I call 911? No, he didn't say to do that. He just said call for help.
Call for help. Hmm.
So I choose to call my husband because he's 5 minutes from home. He works really close to home. And I thought, well, if I can get him on the phone, fantastic. Miracles continue. I reach him at work. I have never reached him at work like right away like that.
Hmm.
And I give him so much credit because all I said was, I need you to drive me to the hospital immediately. Can you do that? And all he said was, on my way.
Mm.
And he just threw the phone down. So no Q&A going on here.
Yeah. No
He's
time
on
to
his
ask.
way to pick me up. And I just have time to call the OB office, and I
Okay.
tell them what happened. They asked me if I'm bleeding. I said no. And they said, anything else besides this excruciating pain, and your husband's bringing you to us right now. Said, well, my abdomen is distending like crazy. My abdomen's getting really big. I don't understand what's going on.
Wow. Okay.
And they said, as soon as you get here, just leave the car. Don't go park in the garage, because the OB office was at the hospital, which was perfect. And they
Mm,
said, we'll meet you with a wheelchair. So that's what they did. They meet us curbside with the wheelchair. He just leaves the car there. And we're whisked up to the OBGYN office, straight into an ultrasound room.
mhm.
And they try and get a visual, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm confused. I'm puzzled because I've had ultrasounds before. Obviously, you see
Right.
organs. That's the whole point of doing the ultrasound.
Yeah.
I just see black. So I ask the ultrasonographer, is that working? Is your machine on? I don't see anything.
Right.
And I see her kind of put her game face on, and she just touches me on the shoulder and says, I'm going to get the OBGYN physician now. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So I'm looking at my husband like, this is not good. I don't know what's going on. But she comes right back. She's got not only a doctor with her, but a certified nurse midwife. So we've now got like 5 of us squeezed in this tiny little ultrasound room. The doctor tries to get a visual and adjust the machine, and he just shakes his head and lets me know as gently as he can, Wendy, we've got a major abdominal bleed going on. We don't know where it's coming from. We can't visualize anything. That's why you're not seeing anything. The machine's working perfectly,
Yeah.
but you're losing a lot of blood.
Man. Okay.
So we need to admit you up on the floors right now. So they whisked me up into the hospital. They took me they went and ran and got a stretcher. They didn't even want me in the wheelchair at that point, and get me in the bed and let me know you can't get out of bed for even to go to the bathroom. You just need to lie prone. Let's see if we can get this to stop. And I'm just trying to visualize, let this be, I don't know, gallbladder,
Mhm.
appendix, something non-essential.
Right.
I'm
Right.
kind of trying to, go through in my
Of
mind
course.
what might be non-essential. And the nurse is out at the nurse's station, and she's calling for blood. So she asks me my blood type, and I tell her, she says, do you know your blood type? I said, absolutely. It's A
I
negative.
guess we should all know, but I don't mind.
Exactly. We should all know our blood type,
Uh-oh.
because you just never know. And put it on your phone, because there's these neat little, in case of emergency, free phone apps. You
Mm,
just load in important info on your phone, and then 911 can access it without knowing your phone code
gotcha.
in
Yeah.
case of
I've seen
emergency.
those.
Yeah.
First I need to know my blood type. Okay.
Exactly. So you just put that information in
Okay.
there in case it's ever needed. So she lets us know. I see her like looking not happy. I'm waiting to hear, oh yeah, blood's on its way. Seattle has a central blood bank to not waste blood. And she's been talking to the central blood bank, the main location. And she lets us know, oh my gosh, I can't get blood for her right now
Oh
because there
my.
was this major train collision 3 days ago, and it wiped out all the A
Oh,
negative blood supply.
man.
So I'm
Okay.
like, what? I didn't know you could ever run out of blood.
Right.
Well, of course you can. Again, it's important to donate blood.
Right.
It really is the gift of life.
Yeah.
So
This is like a
we're
message to everyone out there.
exactly. So we're discussing, what do we do? Do we do surgery? But we don't know what we're operating on. I'm pregnant and we don't
Yeah.
have blood. So that's not making a lot of sense.
No.
So we agree, watch and wait. She's gonna be calling around, looking other places to get blood, and just see when the blood bank restocks. And hopefully there'll be blood here within a few hours. It did arrive maybe 6 or 7 hours later.
Okay.
So they
Pretty good.
start hanging bags of blood, but I can see I'm going through it at an alarming rate.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I'm also in so much pain. So I've
Really?
like,
They couldn't get rid of any of that pain, huh?
we've blown through like Demerol, we've blown through,
Sheesh.
because of course we don't want to give me much because I'm
True.
pregnant
Right. That's
and
true. Yeah.
first trimester, but I'm now on morphine and still just in so much pain. So this goes on for about 3 days because we agreed watch and wait. I'm
Wow.
being taken excellent care of. We're continuing to transfuse blood. We're continuing to see, can this, abate on its own? Because the
Yeah.
body needs time to heal. And I'm trying to heal it. And I'd never actively tried to do that before. I was
Oh,
36 years old. This was really very, very new to me. And just, as I said, monitoring different things. They're checking my hematocrit closely. And I think it was the third day that my physician comes to me. I was also comforted. I had my own doctor. I'd not only delivered with him, I'd gone through infertility with him. I'd gone through 2 ectopic pregnancy surgeries. So I'd
mm,
had more than the usual care with him. So I was just so glad he was there. I was so glad to be in my community hospital because I
yeah.
knew they did about 5,000 births a year, which is really high for a community hospital. And that means there's lots of GYN complications. There's lots of GYN surgeries as a result. So we'd agreed I'm not going to be transferred downtown. I'm staying right here in my local hospital.
Hmm.
But the doctor lets me know, looking at the hematocrit, he says, you are officially bleeding out. We really need to do surgery. Will you please sign the paperwork? We want to do surgery tomorrow
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I get it. Because Julie, the other thing that was concerning me was it was hard to stay conscious. It was hard to stay awake. It was hard to care.
Wow.
And
Uh,
that was scaring me because I could feel myself really between worlds is the best way I could describe it. I felt like I was like, one foot in each,
hmm
deciding, do
hmm
I stay or do I go? So I signed the paperwork for the surgery. It's going to be at 7 a.m. the next morning with my OBGYN and another one. And get my dinner. You get it at 4:30 promptly. It's the hospital. And I'm just trying to relax after dinner.
hmm
So I'm alone in the room. I'm trying to like marshal my resources and visualize the best possible outcome. The
hmm
moment I did that, I popped right out of my body. And I was like, oh, I feel so much better. And I'm looking back over my shoulder at my body in the bed. And I'm like, she's fine. And then I'm looking at myself some more. I'm like, ooh, she's a hot mess. She does not look good, but I don't really care because I see all
Interesting.
this light up above and I want to go explore that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, why am I referring to myself in the third person?
Yep. Hmm.
Because I know I'm me and I'm recognizing I feel great because I'm back in soul form. I'm my higher self
Yeah.
and no more pain, no more worries. And I recognize me in the bed as Wendy, but I recognize that's just a little part of me. That's like one me. That's like physical body, one incarnation me. That's not the real full me.
Yeah.
So again, I'm like, she's fine.
Yeah. I've
I can
I've heard this so many
check.
times when they pop out, when an NDE pops out, it's like so disconnected from the
Yes.
physical. It's like, nice, just
Whatever.
little
It's
whatever.
very
Yeah.
strange.
And
It's
how
very
long was
strange.
it between your dreams and this all starting to happen when you went
Just a
unconscious in
couple
your
of weeks.
couple of
Just a
weeks
couple
later?
of
Okay.
weeks. Yes, just a couple of weeks of my ship is going down.
Okay.
So I want to follow that white light. I just see it like through the hospital ceiling. It's like, and it is like magnetic. It's like, oh,
Okay.
I am going up there. So I start going up and I pop out of the hospital and I'm looking below me and it's becoming like a Google Earth version where it's like
Yep.
further and further away. And I'm feeling better and better, like I'm traveling faster. But then I have this odd thought, and I knew very little about NDEs. This was 1997. They were not so
Yeah.
well publicized and popularized like they are now with this
Right.
wealth of information.
Right.
But I had heard evidently about going home to the light through a tunnel.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm thinking, oh, please don't make me go through that tunnel. I am too tired. I'm not sure I get all the way
You're
through
still
the
connected a
tunnel.
little bit, it sounds like, maybe to the
Yes, I'm
physical in a
still
way.
feeling the exhaustion,
Mm,
just, flatter than a pancake. The minute
mm.
I think, please don't make me go through a tunnel, this gorgeous escalator comes in. It's just for me. There's so much light from it. There's no one else on it. And I remember plopping myself on the escalator over the handrail. And
Oh.
that made me kind of like assess my body. I'm like, what is my body form right now? What's
Mhm.
my form? And it was like being like a beach ball, like a white, um, sparks of energy within like beach ball, but I was like very deflated.
Oh,
So
how
I'm like,
weird. So you're like a deflated
yes, I'm
ball over
like
the side of
hanging
the,
over that handrail, like, thank you for the lift.
how weird. Okay, that's
So we go
interesting.
up and up and up. The minute we get to the top of the escalator, the angels from my bathroom are there again,
Mm.
and my soul family is there. So there's about 20 different beings of light. And I can see about 15 of them look like what I should have looked like these sparkly beach balls of light with
Okay.
like all this
So they're
energy
also
moving.
light. They're not human
They're light.
figures. Human
They're not
figures.
human figures. The
And
angels
did you
are,
know they were your soul family right
I
away or no?
did.
Oh,
I knew right away who I was like, oh my gosh, it's my family. It's my soul
wow.
family. And I
Okay.
didn't know that concept at the time. I most recognized my four grandparents, which was very interesting because I knew my mom's parents very well. I'd lived with them. I never met my dad's parents. They died before I was
Huh.
born. So it's soul family recognition, to
Interesting.
know and to recognize who they are, even though everyone looks exactly the same. So it was just so time to let go of any arbitrary distinctions around race, culture,
Yeah.
age, gender. We're just these beautiful balls of light, period.
But you
We're
knew
all the
them like
same.
by, I've heard energy signature. It's like you recognize their
Yes,
energy signature or something.
perfect. That
Huh.
is the
It's just so
perfect
fascinating.
description.
Okay.
The angels were much larger. They looked like they had in my bathroom. They had more of a physical shape, much
Oh.
larger. And I had this sense because when I first got up there, everyone's giving me this big joyous hug. And
Mm,
it was so wonderful because it was
mm.
unconditional love. And we don't feel that very often. So it was just a big deal to get to
Yeah.
feel that.
Yeah.
And Archangel Michael started, he was the spokesperson again. And he said, welcome home. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you made it. You've done nothing wrong. You're welcome to stay. But if you want to go back, it is your choice. You're going to need to make a decision quickly. And I realized
Mhm.
that that body in the bed is not viable very long.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at him like, oh, I need to really listen because I'd wanted to run straight ahead. I'd wanted to go further and explore further. And I
Yeah.
realized they were holding me back because I think if I had done that, I wouldn't have been able to come back.
Mhm.
So what Archangel Michael said was, I can tell you three things to help you make your decision.
Mhm.
Number one, if you go back and have the surgery tomorrow, it will be successful. You will fully regain your health. So that was
Mhm.
like, phew, that's
Yeah.
amazing to know.
Mhm.
Number two, your baby will be born healthy. This is
Okay.
huge to know this. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, good
Yeah.
news on top of good news. You're making this easy. Number three was the kicker. Number three was if you choose to go back, your life will be very difficult, likely for many years, because you're not on your life path. You're not living your purpose. You're not fulfilling your soul mission or your
Mhm.
destiny. So I'm now like,
Mm.
oh my goodness, I'm horrified, I'm chagrined, I'm like embarrassed. It's like, oh my goodness, please tell me. I'm so sorry. Please tell me, what am I supposed to be doing?
Mhm.
What should I stop doing? What am I missing? Set me straight. Here's this magical moment.
Yeah.
He just looks at me just so kindly, but he just gently shakes his head. And I'm like, oh, no information coming from there. So Julie, I'm with 20 beings of light. So of course I'm like, I'm gonna look around. Someone else
Giving
is gonna tell me. So
giving you
I'm
a hint.
like,
Who's going to
giving
give
me a
me a
hint.
hint? Hello?
I'm looking all around and nothing. They just start being really playful because I'm like, oh gosh, I can't learn anything more. They're like putting duct tape over their mouths. They're like zipping their lips and throwing the key away.
All
So
right. Trying to
instead
make
of
it lighter, it sounds like. And
trying to make it lighter,
it's
trying to
not
make
that
me
bad. It's
laugh.
not heavy. It's okay.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I have to figure that out myself. That's what's meant to happen. So Archangel Michael then asks me, what do you want to do? The moment he asks me that,
Mhm.
all I see is Tara, my little toddler's adorable little face. And it's like
Right.
the IMAX screen version, like the 70-foot tall. It's like my whole world is
Yeah.
filled with this beautiful little girl's face. And
Yeah.
I'm also like, and wait a minute, I'm going to regain my health and I'm going to have
Mhm.
another baby. So I tell them I'm going
Mm.
back for my children. Please send me back.
Okay. If they had not put that image of your whole world, our children are our whole world when they're little, do you think you would have not remembered and you would have wanted to continue, not go back?
That's a great question. Um, I don't know. It was very clear to me I was going back for my children. If that hadn't been shown to me, or what if I hadn't had children, for instance, or what if the new baby wasn't going to survive? Would I have gone back? No, no, I would not.
It was
I would
too
not.
too
Now
good
that you
over
ask
there.
that question, oh, my goodness. Unconditional love, no
Yeah.
judgment, no pain. Everything is
Yeah.
just perfection. How do you turn your back on that? You do it for specific reasons. So the minute I say, okay, I want to go back, it kind of turns into this like combination of like baseball coach and like cheerleaders. I'm like, put me back in, coach. And they give me another big hug. The whole group does. This time I catch on. It's not just a download of unconditional love. And I'm going to have support and feel like I'm more connected because I've never felt that before in
Mm,
36 years.
mm,
But I realized they were giving me energy because I'm not sure I would have survived the surgery otherwise. So just
mm.
getting that download of energy was a really big deal.
Okay.
So I just get spun around then after that hug and that download. I'm going back down on the escalator. I'm like looking over my shoulder and like waving, and everyone's like waving, like, you can do it. Get back in there. We're rooting for you. We'll be with you. And I just very gently go back into my body, and no regrets. It was just I felt so respected that
Mm,
I got to choose like that, because I've heard a lot of NDEers talk about no choice and just being told that they felt like they were told it's not your time, or they were pushed or shoved,
mm.
that something more unpleasant, happened. And for me, it was very respectful, very loving.
Do you have any theories as to why some NDEs are more coerced or forced back to body?
I think it might relate to soul age. I think it might relate to how much experience our soul has, how much discretion we have, and how much discernment we have, and how much we get to choose, and how much we create and co-create.
So what I'm hearing is the soul that's more coerced back, it might be a younger soul who hasn't
Yes,
incarnated very
exactly.
many times on Earth.
Exactly.
How many
Exactly.
times you may not know the answer to this, because I don't know how much you've learned over all this time now that you've been doing these things.
I've
How,
incarnated approximately 2,600 times,
oh,
1,300 on Earth and 1,300 on other planets and in other dimensions.
oh,
So
is
a
that
balanced starseed hybrid.
a balance? That's called a balance. So some are less, some are more, as far as that many
Just
incarnations?
just meaning that I've been on Earth about half my incarnations and
I see.
elsewhere about half.
Okay, that's balanced. Is this common for people who are here on Earth, or is it completely different for each,
I think it's all over the map. I
all
think
over the
we've
map?
got such different experiences going on. I think we've got quite a varied team here now, because Earth is at such a pivotal moment of raising her vibration to 5D, which we're invited to do 5D and higher.
How many Earth incarnations did you say you've had?
1,300 approximately.
1,300. Now, I think I heard you saying before, and maybe it was here during this interview or another, that we come here to learn things. Now, if you've been here 1,300 times, do you know what kinds of other things you could possibly need to learn after that many human lives?
I know I came here because let's put it this way. Yeshua is a wonderful salesperson, Jesus, and was drafted, but it was a choice. He was asked, "Come on back in. We need you. We need you to do some specific
Oh,
things."
Jesus did
So
when you were there, that with
when
the
I
group,
was
with
at
this.
home before I incarnated as a baby,
Oh, you
but
found this
then
out later. Okay, I'm sorry.
found that out much
Gotcha.
more recently. Yeah, yeah. Did not know that. Did not know that growing up. Did not keep that awareness growing up.
So tell me more. Okay, so you have this memory. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, and if you want to share
That's
anything
okay.
else, but you was it a past life regression, or were you doing a regression when
It
this you
was
learned this?
it's come up multiple times. I learned to meditate, which my gosh, I wish I'd done that earlier in life. But I learned in my early 50s, better late than never.
Yep.
Just some spiritual practice, some way to ground and clear your energy and raise your vibration, some way to calm down that busy left brain that many of us have, and balance that ego and balance that masculine and feminine energy, the two sides of us.
Yeah.
So it came through multiple times of being asked to come back with a specific mission to help people with their spiritual awakening, to help people return to that place where we can release the fear and move much more into the love vibration and the peace. I specifically came in to help land peace on this planet and peace on earth.
So this
And
information is a pre-birth or between life memory. It was before this current Wendy life.
pre-life planning
Before you,
for this
oh, it
life
was your,
as Wendy.
so when you met with Jesus, you remember now that you met with Jesus and he's kind of like giving you some ideas of what you're
Exactly.
supposed to do
You know,
here.
functioning as a wonderful world teacher. I
Okay.
don't see him as being about any certain religion. I see
Oh,
there's
okay.
so many people who relate to, he has such gentle yet powerful, very unique energy. And he just reaches so many people and they're like, oh my gosh, I was able to speak with Jesus. That's like amazing. You know, that he came to me in a dream or a meditation. And it's very surprising. It can feel too much for people. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. And
Oh,
others are more happy to share it. I want to help normalize that. I see him as a world
yes,
teacher.
yes. So it sounds like maybe he kind of gave you the impression that you didn't really come down here to learn more as Wendy, but to
Oh,
maybe
I had
give,
plenty to learn too.
learn and give, learn that you didn't
So,
learn in your 1,300 lives. I just can't,
yes.
I always have a hard time imagining like how many lives does it take?
Some people have 100. You know, it's just
Yeah.
it's a free will choice. And you know, some learn more quickly than others. Some have a bigger list of what they really want to maximize. I did have some karma and I wanted to resolve that. I wanted to transmute that. So I think that was part of why I agreed to come back.
Well, here's a question that I just thought of now, because you have incarnated how many times on other planets or under other physical?
Approximately 1,300 on other planets and in other dimensions, meaning, you know, fairy kingdom, dragon realm, other types of beings, non-human, but not on another
Right.
planet.
And you can't learn the same things there, I'm assuming, that you can on Earth.
Correct. With so many learning labs.
Okay. And you can't, I just thought of this. So you can't work out karma that you've accumulated on Earth on a non-Earth planet.
I don't believe you can. I
Okay.
believe karma it's not, I don't see it as punishment. I see it as unbalanced energy. And
Okay.
it's a learning opportunity. It's bringing us back to either the same person or the same experience where we need to settle out that energy. So for instance, I had a lot of energy, I had a lot of karma for being a heartbreaker. So
Oh,
you can
okay.
imagine how my romantic relationships have gone this life.
Ah, all right.
They've been very challenging until now because I've finally gotten that turned around, and I'm very grateful for that. I also had a lot of karma for abusing my power,
Oh,
and just being over enthusiastic with it. So that's not a good thing if you're not, being fair minded, and if you're not being, handling it well. So
yeah.
what I was doing in this lifetime, I was a shrinking violet with it. I
Oh,
didn't want to embrace
oh,
my power because I was so concerned because I got that karma for it, for being too heavy-handed. I was like trying to find the middle of the road. I didn't want to public speak. I didn't want to publish the books. I didn't want to move into what I was supposed to be doing as my life purpose. So
mm.
it took a lot of guides and a lot of experiences, and it took a soulmate to specifically wake me up spiritually and help me step to the plate.
I'm real curious about your soulmate and how you came to learn about soulmates and learn and meet this soulmate. But I also wanted to allow you to go back to when you came back to body in the hospital. And I'm
Sure.
kind of curious how
I'll
long it took you to get from there to really moving into.
Absolutely. I'll
Okay,
I'll draw that line
cool.
quickly. So what happened was I'm in the hospital for a few days. I go home for 6 weeks of bed rest. I go back to work into a job I love. They're so
Okay,
happy to
good.
have me back. Everything's great. I'm there for about 6 more weeks. It's now November of 97. I have no idea the country's moving into a deep recession, and
Okay.
I get laid off very suddenly.
Oh, okay.
um, Very upset. I'm pregnant. I'm not feeling well. I carry the family health insurance. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
now have, and we're like, oh my goodness, what do we
Oh,
do?
shoot. Right.
1 week later to the day, my husband's successful software company, he's one of 5 owners, 100 employees, tanks. He goes to payless payday,
Ah,
no unemployment. He's in a big whale of hurt. Our family is really suffering
oh
and
dear.
struggling. Heavily mortgaged, just bought a bigger house to have a second baby, just bought a new van, second baby. We have a full-time nanny on contract. Neither of us has a job, and we have no health insurance, and I'm
Okay, here it
pregnant.
comes.
Those angels had it right.
Challenges. Yeah, yeah.
So what happens was, fast forward now to March of 1998, and I do deliver a healthy baby girl. So grateful. I was able to get health insurance,
Good.
and I'm home. I had a very, very short stay was all that was approved. I'm home. So grateful. Anyone's grateful to be looking at their newborn, but especially after what I've been through,
Mm.
very, very grateful to have this healthy new child. But I'm holding her in my arms, Julie. I have not been home more than 2 hours, and I'm alone. I'm nursing her, and I
Hmm.
hear Archangel Michael say, your contract with your husband is complete. That was my reaction, only some
Oh,
swear words came out too.
oh my gosh. Okay.
And I'm like, oh, I'm now arguing with an archangel. This is not
Holy moly. Okay.
cool. So we did the very best we could. Um, we tried to be loving, respectful partners and parents, but when an archangel tells you it's over, it's over. So we divorced when our daughters were 6 and 8. I waited until that
Oh,
time because I thought they'll be in school full time. It'll be easier to respectfully co-parent.
hmm,
And we planned things so that they'd go back and forth between the two homes.
hmm.
We were very fortunate. My mother had kindly stepped to the plate. She'd helped us financially while we were unemployed. He
Mm.
had gotten back into a brand new job, got his company sold the same weekend I delivered. So the astrology had
Huh.
shifted.
Okay.
That middle of March 1998, everything was starting to come back together. But we
Mm.
do divorce when the girls are 6 and 8, and I start sharing a home temporarily with my mom. She's helping us with co-parenting schedules. She's team grandmom. She
Mm.
moves all the way from Boston to Seattle.
Oh,
So appreciated. It was a
yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. That.
Really, really helped the family. And now fast forward another 6 or 7 years, and I had rebuilt my life at that point. My mom and I built a duplex. We're living in the two halves of it. The girls are 12 and 14. My career's going really well. Everything's going fantastic.
No
So
supernatural stuff, no energy heal,
not
nothing.
until now, not until age 49.
Wow.
With the 12 and the 14, I have stuffed it down,
Yeah.
never knew what to do with the NDE. I didn't know about
Yeah.
IANDS, International Association of Near-Death Studies. The irony of that, Seattle, oldest chapter in the country,
Right. How?
never heard about it, never
Yeah.
knew about it. I just didn't know how to share it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So didn't unpack it. So I'm now 49 and I'm like, what's missing? Something's missing. Oh, I'm ready to meet a great guy. And then I'm like, wait a minute, how do you do that? It's like 25 years since I've been on a date. I have like no clue. So I went to a great source. I asked younger girlfriends who were actively dating. And I said, I don't feel like I'm going to meet someone through church. I'm certainly not going to be going to bars. I'm not meeting anyone through friends of friends. I was like, I just don't know how to do this as such a busy single mom who works full time and, got the house and the pets and the kids. How do you meet someone? And all my
Yeah.
girlfriends said, oh, Wendy, you just need to go on match.com. And I'm like, match.who? What are you talking about? Because I don't understand
Yeah.
what dating apps are and dating online. I have no clue. So they take me by the hand and help me build a profile and put some photos in there. And the minute I originally put my geography in is I only wanted a 5-mile match because I thought make this be as practical as
Yeah.
possible. Because people are busy and Seattle traffic is horrendous. So let's be practical here.
Mhm.
And the minute I changed it, because it's like, I hadn't really met anyone. I'd kind of practiced for maybe 4 months or so. The minute I changed it to 10 miles, this profile came up and I'm looking at it going, I know him, I know him, I know him.
But you
I
didn't
had
in this life?
exactly, bingo. So we then correspond for about 3 weeks. He put the most interesting final line no one has ever put on Match, probably. And he put any woman on a spiritual journey, particularly one interested in an LBL, we have to meet. So I Googled LBL. I find Life Between Lives, Dr. Michael Newton's Spiritual
Aha.
Regression. I find Journey of Souls.
Wow. Yeah.
So because it takes us 3 weeks to meet and we keep playing the how do I know you game the whole time via phone and email until we sync schedules, that gives me time to get the book and read it. When we meet for lunch in a restaurant near my office, his home, I couldn't get up from the bench. I'm like sitting on the bench. I got there first. He walked in. Julie, the world, I thought there was an earthquake going on. It's like the world was shifting and moving. I've never felt anything like it. This my belief system is just like falling away and
Oh.
crumbling. He walks in and he sees me and he comes right over and I think he sees I can't stand up. So he drops down on one knee and is like right looking in my eyes and in my face and says, I know you. So he kind of like helps me up by the elbow and like the spell is broken. I'm like, okay, I can walk. I can like form words. I don't know what's going on here. We were at lunch for 3 hours on a work day. We would have stayed there longer, but we both had to get back to work. Past lives. We didn't know each other in this lifetime, but that's what was coming through. I met the soulmate with the contract to wake me up spiritually on match.com. They do not advertise this.
That needs to be part of their advertising.
It's not part of their advertising. But I think the point is spirit will meet us wherever we're at. So we had that soul contract. We'd agreed to that before we came into this lifetime. And we found 21 lives together. It took us 8 years to work through all of them. So we dated exclusively for 13 months. It was a highest highs, lowest lows. I've never been in such a drama relationship. I've never been so happy and I've never been so crazy.
Wow.
So much karma.
Okay.
So much past life energy. And we
Yeah.
were both trying to just be present, be in the moment. We had so much telepathy. We finished each other's sentences right from the first moment because we'd spent so much time together. So there
So
was
many
so
lives
much,
together. You mean,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
there was so much good to
It's
it,
interesting.
but there was also so much hot mess to it.
Hmm.
So we were not able to make it as romantic partners. That was the
Okay.
plan. That's what we'd planned, was this, happy marriage. Later in life, I'm 49 when we meet. He's 57. I'm divorced once. He's divorced twice. We'd planned to do all this spiritual work together. We'd planned to write together, be on radio together. And
Okay.
instead we break up.
Wow.
I'm heartbroken
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I'm feeling not only the loss of this amazing romance. You can hear my hesitation. It was so dramatic, as I said, but I could feel the destiny. I could feel all the
Huh.
work we were meant to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, all that's gone too. Am I
Yeah.
reneging on
Right.
contracts? So I'm really concerned.
Right.
So what happens is I'm so heartbroken when he ends it, which was such a great gift to me, but I didn't know that at the time.
Mm.
So we didn't see each other for a couple of months because I needed to just go lick my wounds, and I'm thinking this is done
Yeah.
because I can't resume this intense type of relationship. It's making me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And but what happened was we started meeting each other again and again in the most remarkable ways.
Mm.
If that ever happens to any listener, pay attention. You have
Mm.
work to do with that person.
Oh, okay.
So figure it out,
Okay.
just meditate, work with a healer, figure out, what am I meant to be doing? Why do we keep meeting and re-meeting like this? So we became spiritual seekers together.
Nice.
And we then lived that relationship for about another 7 years.
Wow.
So that's what firmly got me on my path.
That's
It took
nice.
me to my first past life regression. I then had so much healing and amazing insight from that when I signed up immediately for an LBL, just
Yeah.
like in his match dating profile. So a year later, I go for my first Life Between Lives. 6 months later, I have two quantum healing hypnotherapy sessions. I've had
Mm.
4 sessions in 3 years. Life is so much better. Life is so much different.
Okay.
I know I'm meant to become a past life regressionist.
Ah.
So that's how that unveiled. And then I'm very stuck as a writer. It's like I just can't pull the plug. I can't get the first book published. I help him get published. That had been one of our contracts, was to write together.
Okay.
I help him get his first book published. And then my first book, Regression Healing 1, The Huntsman, the Lord High Mayor, and the World War II Soldier, it's my former boyfriend, that important soulmate. It's his session with me. It's me as his past life regressionist. So the wheel had turned all the way to I'm now his past life regressionist, from him having
Wow.
introduced me to even the concept, which I'd never heard of.
Oh my goodness.
So that's how, so my point is, even if you think a contract is supposed to play out a certain way and it's not working, let go, spiritually surrender. Just say, I want to serve, I want to do my work, I want to
Mhm.
learn, help me, help others, whatever your wording is. And the guides just rearrange it. They rearrange it.
Hmm.
So that's my belief. That's what's happened for me. And I've seen it happen for many clients
Um,
so that it can get accomplished.
we're getting close to being out of time, but I had a couple more questions
Please.
before we wrapped it up. What's the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame?
I see a twin flame as a specific type of soulmate. Not everyone has one. It's a choice. If you choose to, again, I believe it's an experienced soul technique. If you choose to split your soul so that your soul goes off and has different experiences, so you're getting more experiences, more learning, more quickly.
Oh,
So a
oh,
twin flame I see as literally the other half of your soul. So if and when you reunite on Earth, intensity, because it's holding up a mirror, because the twin flame journeys to become complete in yourself. So they hold up the mirror like no one else will of any work you haven't done. So there's a lot of attract, repel, very, very intense. I had wondered if this soulmate was my twin flame, but he's not.
Okay.
He's not.
Well, can you have more than, the twin? You said it kind of breaks. Can you have
I
three or
see,
four?
I see one, only one twin flame
Okay.
soulmate as a specific type of soulmate. But I believe we have many types of soulmate: romantic, not romantic, best friend, mentor, boss.
Okay.
There's many types of soulmates.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering if there were triple flames and quadruple
Not to
flame
my
or something.
knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Anything is possible, not to my knowledge.
Yeah. Okay. And then real quickly, what's quantum healing?
I see quantum healing as being healing across all space and time, because we're really living in a quantum reality. Our structure of past, present, future, that's a human construct to simplify, because it hurts our heads to like be in that quantum world with everything's happening in the now. And, time is really more of a spiral or a loop versus a line. So quantum healing means if we can do a past life regression as an example and heal chronic pain now, that's got beautiful ripples across past lives. Also, we can heal things. We can find the past life of origin. That's what we found in my former boyfriend. He'd broken his neck. He had been a professional athlete. He had a lot of physical pain, is why I offered to do this session for him. We found 2 lifetimes of origin creating this physical pain.
Right.
He'd not forgiven the parties involved.
Oh.
So that physically healed his life now, to let it go in the past.
So forgiveness is so important. Can we say with intention, I forgive anybody who offended me in all of my past lives, who harmed me, physical or emotional?
You can say that with a true open heart and just really feel that. I think that could be a powerful. You might have to do it more than once. It might be a beautiful ritual. It might be perfect on full moon release.
Okay.
It might take more than, quickly saying that one time.
Yes, of course. Right. Interesting. Oh gosh, we're out of time. I don't want to be out of time, but this has been really fun, Wendy. And I don't want to leave before you share any current projects you're working on.
Absolutely. Well, people are welcome to reach out to me on my website, which is wendyrosewilliams.com, and you can get a complimentary 15-minute phone appointment there. Current projects, I'm getting ready to release my next book, which is Regression Healing 2, Joe and Marilyn, will be coming out very soon. And please reach out and ask me. It'll be on the website soon. I'm going to be doing a workshop with Bob Snow, who wrote Portrait of a Past Life Skeptic. It's one of my favorite past life accounts. He had an amazing experience, and it's going to be Thursday, June 28th, 4 to 5:30 p.m. It'll be a combo workshop book club where he'll be with me and I'll be interviewing him, but you can ask him questions of what happened. He was a police captain for 38 years. So for someone like that to have worked his own past life case, he set out to disprove reincarnation because he thought it was hooey. And to have then proved his own case. It's amazing.
I remember hearing about him. Yes. Okay, cool.
So that workshop book club will be coming up on July 28th.
Okay, then. And what is your website again, Wendy?
My website is my full name, wendyrosewilliams.com. And my podcast is wakingupspiritually.com. And you can find about 50 podcasts there with tips and techniques and just help for people.
Okay. And I will put these in the video description.
Oh, thank you so much. And
listening.
Thank you for what you're doing. It's so helpful. I so appreciate the conversation.
Oh, me too. I love it. And one other thing that I like to do for my guest is leave you with really the last words before I close out. So if there's anything that you feel like, oh, I really want to talk about this one last thing, or just anything on your
Sure.
heart, words of encouragement.
What's in my heart is for everyone to just work to love themselves, because we don't receive that unconditional love on earth very often. And just to do that and to just be able to feel as peaceful as you can in your energy, that is what is going to radiate peace on this planet. And we've reached the tipping point. There is going to be peace on this planet within our generation, is my belief. But we've got to hold that energy. And there's a lot of the tough stuff bubbling up so that it has the chance to be seen and to be healed.
Mm. Yes, yes. Wow.
That's my last
Thank
what's
you.
really in my heart.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you and your time very much.
Thank you. Likewise, Julie.
And thank you to everyone watching. This has been Julie McVey with Unordinary Made Ordinary. And if you enjoyed this interview, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content we're sharing on the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're alerted to future videos. And I hope you are having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are on the planet or off the planet. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.